Royal Ones, this is Miss Gigi. I'm coming at you again with another juicy episode. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about the landscape of America post-King movement. How we are still talking about racial discrimination and how this influenced the civil rights movement. You know, we shouldn't even be going through it as bad as it was because of the efforts of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and all the civil rights leaders of the 60s. It shouldn't still feel like it's going on right now today. It shouldn't be, the implication shouldn't be as problematic. You know, the Bill of Rights were created so all men are created and to be treated equal in the eyes of the law. You know, that is the concept of the Constitution, but not everyone lives by this concept. You know, racism still exists today. And in regards to being in the workplace, among colleagues of many different fields, the competition is cutthroat. That's why I celebrate the Great Resignation for our black men and women who just decided to up and quit. There are so many black women who left the workforce. I salute you, and they became their own business owners. Wonderful. I resonated 12 years ago, 2010, before this landscape became as bad as it was, because I also experienced it too in corporate America, especially working in the legal field where they want to dominate everything and they want to have all the power. But I experienced it for a short time, you know, about 5 or 6 years, and then I had enough. But then I learned everything I need to learn. And so I employ everyone to, you know, go back to school and learn as much education as you can and strike out on your own. Working for someone, you know, only make that temporary. That's not the end goal. Is to stay there and move up the corporate ladder, you know. But some people, everybody ain't cut out for this self-employment. Everybody ain't cut out to be the boss, you know, taking ownership of all of that. But I employ the ones that are making a difference and are owning their own businesses and are hiring. So the ones that are not fit to be the boss, that they're good in the managerial position, that's good too. You know, we need great managers and great supervisors. So equal is not really equal. You know, a racist see that there's a black law and there's a white law, and there's a white law and there's no other law. You know, they just see it as black and white, and that's it. Back in 1868, many police officers refused to protect African Americans because of their skin color. You know, many restaurants refused to serve African Americans back at that time. And I think the reverse racism of it all is they can't refuse to serve us, but, you know, they try to be shady when they bring us out a messy plate of food, or when we see like a hair or something in our food, that's their way of making us feel uncomfortable about attending their establishments. So they'll make our food a little messier so we don't come back or we don't feel welcome. But they can't, you know, discriminate us. I noticed that's what they're doing now today. They're doing it in a little slick, sly sort of way. And it's like, why are you acting this way? Why do they still acting this way post 1965? And it's just, it really shouldn't be. But if they don't have something to do, they ain't got no life other than try to hinder. And that's what they have to do. You know, they got to have something to do with their day. And if they can't mess with somebody, they can't mess with us, then they ain't got nothing else. They ain't got nothing to live for. So stemming for the 14th Amendment, the U.S. freed all slaves. And they were free to work and live as they wanted to peacefully. Lincoln did not free the slaves. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, giving slaves civil rights. But Harriet Tubman freed the slaves with the infamous Underground Railroad. We respect Lincoln and what he did as far as giving us our rights to be treated equally as human beings. Discrimination is to mistreat someone based on their skin color, race, national origin, disability, age, or religion. Racism is intentionally holding back resources from a person or a group of people to try to prevent them from progressing or moving forward. This is my own personal definition. I understand what Merriam-Webster say, what her definition of racism is. It's withholding resources from someone and try to control and manipulate them in order to have control over them. The federal law bans discrimination. In order for a person to file a case, the act of discrimination must have taken place in your job, your educational institution, housing, healthcare, loan application, credit application, or voting. Now, see, we shouldn't have to be going through this. We shouldn't be having to list this like this all over again. We shouldn't have to have too much of this discussion. It shouldn't be this bad. Because instead of complaining about racial discrimination on the job, now what we're doing, and I'm like I said, I support the Great Resignation. I support that for our Black brothers and sisters. Just being mistreated or the color of their skin. I implore that. That's the best. The best revenge is success. The best revenge is success, and become your boss's competition. They didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, outthink them. Don't get mad, just outthink them. And then your educational institution. Let me tell you something about the price of these student loans. That is designed to become a burden on us. Because when we're in our teens, 18, 19s, and 20s, we're not thinking about 30s, 40s, and 50s, where when we start our own families later on, we're not going to be able, we're going to still have that student loan debt burden on us. So it's going to prevent us from moving forward and becoming great in our own lives once we get older. And so as far as housing goes, we will never be a homeowner with all that student loan debt. You will never own a home and never get a car loan, a good car, based on that level of debt on you. So we got to be very, very careful, because this affects discrimination of housing. And then they want to put a lot of the blacks in the low income area, and they try to hinder the blacks from moving up. So we got all this student loan debt. It keeps us at a certain income bracket and moving forward in a certain way that we can move. We can't progress further. And then they want to keep us from moving near them. So they want to move into the suburban areas, all the races, and they want to keep us in a certain group of area. So in regards to housing discrimination, that's just to keep us over there. And they want to stay over there. So, Black Wall Street is the best example of how to respond to housing discrimination. Okay, well then you stay over there and we stay over here. And then we'll still be great. That's the mindset we need to take in regards to how they're treating us. Just don't get frustrated. Just focus and be the best you that you can be every single day. And be great. And then they're going to turn around and look at how you did that, because we didn't give them resources. We didn't support their business at all, but they still in business. They still around, but we didn't support them. But how they still made it? God. You cannot starve a person that God is feeding. As far as healthcare goes, the prices of healthcare is through the roof, and it's so high and it's so expensive that we can't get the proper healthcare packages with all the benefits that we know we deserve. But they want to keep that elite packages and that elite price for a certain group of people. And I know what that's discrimination. I know what they do, and they know we know. And then as far as loan application goes for business loans and housing loans, they want to make the interest rates so outrageous and so ridiculous that it'll discourage us from even wanting to apply, because they don't give us the proper interest rates, the APR on the interest rates that even be attainable to pay down or to pay back in a reasonable time. And they want to give us 40, 50, 60-year loans on a mortgage on a house. What kind of hell is that? How long? Why it's got to be so long? Why the 40-year mortgage? Why the 30-year mortgage? Why the 20-year mortgage? Why got to be that damn long? It's got to be that expensive and that high to pay back so that you can keep a certain group of people out. That's what that is. That's just still racist discrimination. That's their racism. And then on the credit application, applying for some of these credit cards, the APA, like I said, the interest rates are so high and so ridiculous that they make it very balloon interest payments are so expensive to pay back. Instead of paying back $20, $30 a month on your credit card bill, you're paying back $100, $200 a month, $300 a month on your credit card bill, because that's racial discrimination trying to hamper you and discourage you and hinder you from being great. That's just another, another tactic. And then as far as voting goes, I don't really give a shit that much. Like, as far I vote by mail. If it get there, get there. If it don't, it don't. I don't really care, because they sitting up here, they want to try to have discrimination at the polls and try to hinder blacks from voting. I can't believe that's still going on post King era. How's that still going on today? Voting? We still got issues with voting. Really? Seriously? Yes. That is a lot of racism going on, and discrimination and intimidation tactics going on at the voting polls, still to this day. So, and I'm a little exhausted, tired of talking about it. And you know what they do when they see a black woman with a white man. When they see me with my ex-husband, my first husband, I was married to a white man for 6 years, and the white woman would say, "What the hell wrong with you dating a white man? You can't date your own kind." So I had some negative pushback from the white women that would see me out at grocery stores and restaurants with my white husband, and they would stare. The white men would stare too. They'll be like, "What is he doing with that black woman?" And it's like, you know what? We ended up getting a divorce for a certain amount of reasons, but I just think that it was just to prevent. I didn't need to go through that, because I am a strong, black, hardworking, beautiful woman. I did not deserve to go through that. And so, as far as, I don't hate anybody, I just don't think I need to have that experience ever again in life. I don't discriminate anybody who do decide to date. I just, outside their race, I just don't like the response that I got. And that's still going on post King era, after 1965. And it never occurred to them that I was in love with my husband in love with me. But automatically they're going to judge it based on the color of our skin. And that's just the tactic that they use to hate, just to discourage us from being great and moving forward with our lives. And there's going to be one way or the other, they're going to find a way to mess with us. And I hate still turning on the news and seeing the white police officers brutalizing our black men. It's like they still hate for progression to go on in the world. They still hate for progression to go on in the black race. It's like they're afraid that we're going to turn things around on them and put them in slavery. They ain't even fit to get up and go to work every day. How the hell is somebody going to put them in slavery? They have so much medical conditions. They would die the first day in slavery. A lot of these races, they have an overactive imagination. You're not even interested enough to be considered for slavery. Okay, you're not even interested enough. I mean, come on, really? Like, you got like 5 or 6 pill bottles right now sitting beside them. And they got high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, and all this other, liver, kidney disease. They got what the hell they got all these weird ass diseases. That they got articulase number 10 and oculase acrylate, crossing pullover. They got a allobarbaceous leaf extract disease. They got artemisia argillive leaf disease. They got butanoglyscerol diseases, cinatum. They got all type of fruit extract allergy diseases. They got allergies to fragrance, red 40 allergies, all type of stuff. It's just, I'm just reading the back of the bottle. The different ingredients, and this sound like the diseases that they are allergic to, what they come up with when they hear the commercial for all these different diseases. Like, what pill bottle you get that from? All these pill bottle diseases they got. Ain't nobody got time to be trying to hold these overactive imagination as races in slavery. They couldn't survive it. That's what the white fear is. They fear that we're gonna put them back in, do what they do. We're gonna do to them what they did to our ancestors. But they're not even interested enough to be considered for something like that. They're just too much illnesses in the white community to be considered They're not even strong enough. They can't even stay in the sun that long without them melting or whatever the hell. They just go through so much. They have so much complaints. They're not even interested to be considered slaves. So here and here's a list of, if your civil rights been violated, here's a list of legislation that I think you should look into. And the fact that we're still quoting legislation in regards to your civil rights post King era, it's really it's really exhausting. And it shouldn't be this bad, but it is. So just look up U.S. Code Title 42, Chapter 21, U.S. Civil Rights Act of 1866, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Look up the Civil Rights Act of Institutionalized Persons Act. Look up the Fair Housing Acts and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. And I want you to see if any of your rights been violated. And that's how you know. You take it to a lawyer from your own personal research and say, hey, I believe that my rights have been trampled on. And the fact that if we all go back to Africa, they're going to follow us because they're already over there anyway, stealing the resources from Africa. They cannot live without us, but they want to act like they want us to go away. But let me tell you something. If we go away, they'll do this fucking shit themselves. And they want to do a good job about it. They want to do good. They want to survive. That was the whole point of slavery anyway. So that they can have free labor to keep their money in their pocket so that they wouldn't have to do the labor. So they won't have to do nothing because they don't want to do it. They're lazy and they're thieves and they're stealing everything and draining the resources from Mother Africa. That's the problem with these races, and that's what's really going on. They cannot stay from over Africa. They cannot stay from over there. They will not leave us alone. Us leaving, they would have a fit if we all fled the United States and go back to Africa. I just think that when these races start to act out, we need to go back to Africa for 6 months, take some time off, and let them cool down, and then come back. And, that's the end result anyway. They always say go back to Africa, but let me tell you something. If they do, they couldn't do that. They couldn't survive. They could not survive without the black wealth, because the black contribution is the fabric thread of the American, the structure of the American Constitution, and the fact that our ancestors built the colonies of America. They couldn't survive without our ancestors, our contribution. So they think that they want us to go because our ancestors dead and a contribution has been made, and so they want to keep what's left. And they say, oh, we good now. So we done copyright and patent and trademark, so we know how you did it. And so now we done already copied you. So now we know how to do it. So y'all can go back to Africa. Y'all can go ahead and go. But in reality, is that what you really want for us to do? And they don't want to treat us the way they want to treat us, but then they want to hold us here to do all the jobs. And then they, when it's a great resignation, they want to make an announcement. Why are all the black women leaving the workforce? Why are the black men leaving the workforce? Because racial discrimination. This is why you don't treat us right. You don't act like you want us here, but you don't want to, and you want to sit here and have fun hindering us and belittling us and not giving us the resources for our businesses to be great, but then you want us to still be here and dwell in the United States, and you don't know how to act. You don't know how to treat somebody. And all we do is get up and go to work and be great, but then you want to sit here and, oh, I don't like her because of the color of her skin, or she thinks she's great, or she's threatened, and you want to be in competition with somebody, but then you get mad when we leave and we walk away and that you had that shit. And you're like, why are they leaving? It's like, screw you. You can keep that. Have that. Do your shit yourself. It's like, well, I didn't mean it that way. It's like, I hate that, that reverse psychology bull crap that they pull. And then what they try to do is just with these phony white tears that they do, these races, they are something. And they don't want to apologize for whatever. And I'm just really fed up with, all of it. So that's why I don't have to have a certain experience anymore. That's why when I go to the grocery stores, I already know what you think of me because of the color of my skin. Before you even get to know me, you already judged me. And that's what they do. They judge you before they get to know you. And then they want to walk around and date our black men when I know why you're dating him, because of his money. And as soon as you get done tired of him and using him for all his resources, then you're going to kill him off with some insurance policy and get him in a fancy prenup and have a bunch of kids from him. And it's called a snow bunny crisis is what we're talking about is going on. And the black men are so stupid, they signing up and running right into the guillotine. But you know what? I say date who you love and love who loves you. And I say just be careful. And if you experience any of these, if anybody violated your civil rights or any of your first bill of rights, just research it and talk to, reach out to your civil rights attorney. All right, Royal Ones, don't forget to tell me what you think about this podcast and let's have this conversation. Thank you so much for listening to this message. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Love, hugs, and kisses. Bye.